My name is Alexandra Adisi Gabion, a student from ESET University taking up Bachelor of Arts in English Language, and in this video I will be discussing about the study of different topics in the field of linguistics.
Cognitive theory.
According to cognitive theory, the brain is the most incredible network on the world. Cognitive theory's main argument is that thoughts are the fundamental source of knowledge. A range of elements, including our surroundings and external influences, affects our emotions and behavior. By giving you these strong resources, cognitive theory helps you to learn more thoroughly, understanding of the subject and how it relates to your current and future career. The cognitive theory has several implications in psychology and society overall. For example, Byron Cohen et al. Study proved how theory of mind was a weakness in autism and presented a new theory of mind tests. This might be used to assist establish or whether or not someone has autism or Asperger's syndrome. Also, the cognitive theory mainly depends on experiments. Loftus and Palmer, for example, conducted a lab experiment to test the influence of leading questions on memory. To examine the theory of mind, Baron Cohen et al. Utilized a classy experiment, while Fisher et al. Studied the impact of interviewing method training on detectives' performance in eyewitness interviews. The cognitive theory's key disadvantage is that it relates to cognitive processes that we cannot directly examine. Because it is subjective, it depends largely on interpretation and may not be scientific. Critics of their leading question studies question the validity of Loftus and Palmer's constructive memory concept, assuming that conclusions are the consequence of unseen processes is very subjective and may raise concerns about self-fulfilling prophecy and internal validity. The cognitive theory of language acquisition is based on the idea that a kid develops language in the same way as he develops intelligence. The inherit hypothesis is concerned with the fundamental features of the brain that enables children to construct linguistic processes. The use of hypothesis assists children who are learning to speak to establish connections from prior knowledge.
Discourse theory.
Discourse theory is concerned with human expressions, often in the form of language. The way we speak and write is shaped by structure of power in our society. Discourse theory suggested that because our society is defined by struggle and conflict, our discourses reflect and create conflicts. Discourse theory can be used to uncover attitudes and perceptions that might not have been uncovered by other methods, such as interview and surveys. However, discourse theory can be time-consuming. This method is used to concentrate on language, although language is a crucial part of public relations. It seldom delivers the entire picture. As a result, other qualitative techniques such as observation or focus group interviewing should be in addition to discourse theory. Discourse theory, in general, is concerned with the human expressions, most commonly in the form of language. It emphasizes the relationship between such manifestation and human understanding. In other words, discourse theory is concerned with issues of power and frequently with institutional hierarchies.
Monitor theory.
The monitor theory discusses the connection between language acquisition and language learning. The monitoring function is a practical application of the previous acquired grammar. Chomsky's notions serve as the foundation for the theory. The theory developed four hypotheses that prove frameworks such as the natural order hypothesis, affective filter hypothesis, input hypothesis, and acquisition versus language learning. The theory was successfully used as a tool for interpretation of the relationship between acquisition and languages. The theory is based on the idea that a rule can only be broken if three times are met. The acquirer must know the rule, the learner must be focused on the correctness, and the monitor must be in the right place at the right time. The weaknesses of this theory are that it does not take into account the importance of the monitor. This theory has been utilized to establish the connection between acquisition and language learning, with the goal of providing information about the human language.
Social interaction.
It's an all encompassing term designed to bring together what is known about social interaction. It harmonizes theories from various schools of thought to create a more in depth understanding of how social interaction and human emotions are intimately linked. Insights into human relationships on a small scale emphasizes the connection between the meaning of symbols and a person's actions. Recognize that people's conception of reality are fluid and evolving. Humans are viewed as the active participants who create their own social worlds, rather than passive, conforming objects of socialization. However, it overestimates the power of individuals to create their own realities, ignoring the extent to which human inhabits a world not of their own making, by Guffman, 1974, also neglects the emotional dimensions of human conduct, focusing strictly on logical behavior, by Manes and Metzel, 1978. Language and social interaction is the study of how we use language to negotiate relationships, actions, and events in our daily lives. Children naturally acquire language in social contexts where they interact with caregivers. Research shows that social interaction facilitates lexical and phonological development at the early stage of child language acquisition.
Variable competence.
The variable competence of second language acquisition proposes that the ability to use language varies systematically within functional domains and linguistic contexts, and that such variability is inherent in interlanguage as well. Variable competence models take a sociolinguistic approach to SLA. It explains that capability underlies performance, and that is capability consists of heterogeneous knowledge which varies by the speech style. In other words, there is no homogeneous competence underlying performance but a variable competence or capacity. It focuses with the second language acquisition. The root of the problem of the variable competence model is that there are serious conceptual objections to it. Chomsky made the distinction between performance and competence because it fits his theory of language and first language acquisition. Competence is what we know about language. It is, in Chomsky's theory, a well defined phenomenon that is explained by appeal to an innate human capacity, which the vast majority of human beings are born with it. The job of linguists is to describe the rules that make up this linguistic competence and then test empirically the theory that all languages obey these rules. In order to test these, Chomsky says that we cannot just use the performance data, since much of it cannot be counted as evidence for against the theory. The variable competence is the ability to use language systematically within functional domains and contexts, and that such variability is inherent in interlanguage as well. It helps linguistics and scholars to ponder more the second language for students who are learning English as a second language.